you in this room know all about employee engagement. We have three types of employees. Employees who are fully engaged and they are really committed to the organization's objectives and goals. Then you have disengaged employees who put in time but not energy in their work. And then you have toxically engaged employees who actually delight in undermining the goals of the organization. Now, Towers Perrin did a study last year and said, you know, if we defined engagement, what the study is comes down to three things. First, commitment to the organization's goals, strategy and goals, because they represent something I want to do. Second, there's pride and belonging. I'm happy to tell people I work for. A while ago when I was working for Disney, you know, it's one of those employees, every parent loves to tell their children when they're old enough who they work for, when they work for Disney. Well, how do the rest of us feel? Do we work for an organization where we're proud to tell our children who we work for because of what we do? And of course, the third measure of engagement is that they're willing to give their full and best efforts. They're willing to give what is uniquely theirs every day. Now, we know engagement matters. Gallup has done extensive research on this. And we find that organizations where 80% of the employees are engaged outperform dramatically organizations where only 50% of the employees are engaged. And we find that organizations where only 20% of the people are engaged have horrible problems with theft and sabotage and bad behavior. 51% more shrinkage in organizations where only 20% of the people are fully engaged. So it really matters. Engagement is not an HR issue. It's a business issue. And it should be. Because in organizations where 80% of the employees are engaged, their earnings are 260% greater per share on average than organizations that only half the people are engaged in. So if you were to ask most leaders in organizations, how many of your people are engaged? They would be wrong. Because one of these inconvenient truths. It's one of these things that's difficult to face. But the research is really clear. This is research from the Human Performance Institute. These are the best companies in the country. And what we find is that about 2/3 of employees are either not engaged or toxically engaged in their work. On average, 2/3. In some Gallup studies, it's 70%. But what's even more remarkable is that in these same studies of leadership of those companies, so these are people who manage and lead others, over 50% of leaders are not engaged. Well, if leaders are not engaged, why does anything work? I mean, it's amazing that anything works if this is the state of things. Now, the thing that is the most interesting about this research is what causes engagement. What is the biggest driver of engagement? And the biggest driver, the one that has the most horsepower, the one in which there's the greatest difference between those who are disengaged and really engaged, is values alignment. In other words, if my work gives me a chance to express my values every day, I am going to be engaged. And frankly, if it doesn't, I'll put in my time. Doesn't that make sense? Isn't that kind of obvious when you think about it?